Hi everyone, this is Hiba from My Little Journal, and I'm excited to share day 16 and 17 in my October daily 2021. I started a new notebook because the other one is hefty and large and I can't stamp in it anymore, so I decided to use another notebook for the other half of October. So for day 16, I'm going to be documenting the books I read in October or reading in October. I've actually read half of these, so that's pretty exciting. I want to create a bookshelf. Now, I do a lot of these bookshelves in my reading journal, and I love how they look. And I thought it would be fun to recreate it in my October daily, but change it up a little bit by using some photos. So what I'm gonna do is use the stamp set from Feed Your Craft. You can use that stamp set to create your own bookshelf, but I just wanted the lines to create the bookshelf, if that makes sense. So I'm stamping it across my spread to create a large bookshelf. I wanted to make sure that I can fit these photos and be able to stamp in between my books. So once I stamp this out, I'm gonna go ahead, stick down my photos, and start stamping. So this month I decided that I would be reading some spooky books, scary ones, maybe thrillers, and I've really been enjoying what I've already read. I read, which I recommend, The One, which was so good. I am currently reading The Ex-Hex, which is so cute and magical. I also read And She Was Gone. I read a lot this month, but they were pretty good. Also, Buddy read Pet Cemetery with my friend Elizabeth. So I read a good chunk of these books and The Winter People, actually, which is our book club pick. And if you're not a part of my book club, I recommend you be a part of our book club because we read some really, really awesome books, and it's always linked in the description box for you. So anyways, I got all my books stuck down and now I can start stamping. I'm going to use one of my top favorite book stamps. It's called Read from Studio Calico. It has these large books that I always use to create my bookshelves in my reading journal. And I'm going to use that to stamp some stacks of books here and there. I'll also go back to my Feed Your Craft stamp set to stamp little things, kind of accessories on my bookshelf. So I like these little boxes because they'll bring in some color. I'm just switching around the ink pads as I go, and I'm trying to bring in color from my book covers. I will also be stamping using this Hero Art stamp set. One of my wonderful friends sent that to me and I love it. It's just little potion bottles. So I'm going to add a few of those potion bottles in between my books and, just kind of play with this. Did not plan this out. I'm stamping wherever there's empty space and I'm trying to fit things in. Sometimes I'll use some paper just to help kind of mask out certain spots, but it actually works out really, really well. This is something I always recommend. Just play with this. Don't overthink it. I really believe if you don't plan out your page, you have more fun and you'll be surprised how it turns out. I'm always surprised at how my spreads turn out at the end because I didn't plan it. I have a vision and I go with it. And if it turns out great, wonderful. And if it doesn't, no big deal. But anyways, I'm just going back and forth between some Studio Calico stamps and my Feed Your Craft stamp. And I'm just trying to fill out those empty spots. Now I will also color in some of these books later, and you'll see the photos at the end of the video, but I really didn't want to do it on camera. It would just take up too much time, but I will fill some of these out with some color and it's going to look amazing. And again, you can see those photos at the end of this video. But anyways, I'm also using the stamp set from Feed Your Craft. It has all the book genres, and I thought this was a great stamp to stamp inside of each book, just so it looks like the books had titles, if that makes sense. So I just literally stamped thrillers, mystery, horror, things like that. Basically the genres I am reading at the moment. And once I fill out my books, I'm going to start working on my title. So my title, I went back and forth trying to think I want to stamp October books, but how am I going to do this? I want it to fit on the bottom. So what I decided to do is stamp October with this beautiful stamp set. I believe this is from the Paper Person. And I will stamp book with 2 different fonts. So the book, the BOO, which is going to spell out boo, I'm going to use a different font, and I think that's a Studio Calico stamp set, to stamp boo. And then the KS, I will go back to that first font that I used from the Paper Person to finish off books. That way the boo stands out. And again, I will be coloring things in later. So I'm actually going to color in the boo, and it's going to stand out even more. So as you can see, the boo already stands out, and once I color it in, it's going to look even better. But anyways, I also wanted to add something above my bookshelf. So I go through my ephemera packs, and I'm trying to find like a label or a long banner or something. And I found this one, I think it said Happy Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. And it was black. I think it fits nicely. So I'm just gonna cut it in half and add it to each side of my spread, and that way it sits in the center. And I really, really love how the spread turned out. So simple to do, so easy, and I was able to document the books I am reading in October. I also do want to add my number stickers, so I grabbed my Feed Your Craft October numbers, and I'm gonna add number 16 at the corner. And I believe I grab some stickers from my sticker sheets and just add a few stickers here and there. I found like potion bottles, stars. I'm not even sure. I just go with it and add, wherever I feel like it needs a little something, I added a sticker there. Now I'm done with day 16, and I'm going to move on to day 17, where I am documenting what I'm listening to at the moment. So for this spread, this is another scrap lift from my friend Elise. I don't know if you watched last week's video. I scrap lifted one of her spreads, and I'm doing it again this week. She used this adorable stamp set from Feed Your Craft to stamp the cassette players, or not the cassette players, the cassette tapes. And she added them in a line, kind of like a flip up, and added her journaling, kind of a hidden journaling underneath the cassettes. So I was really excited about it. It was beautiful, and I knew right away that I would scrap lift it. And again, I will add Elise's information down below for you guys, because if you want inspiration, you should be following her on Instagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp 4, and then I'm going to use different colors of ink pads to fill them out. I decided to kind of stick to the colors from my photos. I'm documenting 4 artists that I've been listening to in the month of October, and I thought it would look neat if they kind of matched my photos. So I went with like almond, brown, oranges, yellows, things like that. I'm going to take this to my trimmer, trim them down, and now I get to fold my little tapes. So I left some space where I can fold my tape, and I'm going to trim off anything that I don't need. And that way I have a little fold where I can add my journaling, which I will do later. Basically, I'm just going to type out what I've been listening to, my favorite songs from that artist, all that good stuff. And I will stick these down kind of to the left side of my spread, because I do want to add a title. So I made sure to keep some space on the right where I can add my title. So I'm going to go ahead and stick down my photo and my cassettes. Now, one thing that I didn't like was that some of them bled through. I honestly was just going to add journaling underneath each little cassette, but I didn't like that some of them had some bleed through. So I decided to go through my stamps and my embellishments and add a few embellishments to back up each fold. So it would cover up any bleed through, and it's a good way to use some of my embellishments. As you can see there's a lot of bleed through. So I start with my stamps. I'm just gonna stamp October on my first fold, And then I'm going to grab some of my Paper Person ephemera pack and use some of those to cover up the major bleed throughs. And I actually like how it turned out, even though that wasn't planned, or I just literally envisioned this to be very simple and basic spread. But adding those little tidbits really added the Halloweenish look. And also, I was able to use some of my products. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and kind of play with this, add a little bit of embellishing to some of my folds and some stamping, and then I can start working on my title. So I'm almost done adding things to my folds, and then I can start working on my title. So for my title, I wanted to stamp October playlist, and I remembered that that stamp set where I used the cassettes from had a vinyl, and I decided to use it instead of just stamping an O for October, and it turned out so cute. I love how it looks. And I will finish off October by using this Apollo stencil stamp from Feed Your Craft. Once I stamp out October, I don't have to stamp playlist. I just can use my playlist stamp from that same stamp set, if that makes sense. So I don't have to spell it out myself. And I am done with my little title. Well, I think I'm done with my title. Okay, so once I turn my page around and I look at it, I thought, oh, maybe I should add numbers to my photos. But then I thought about it and thought, no, you know what? The numbers would probably look better on my bookshelf. So what I decided to do is use some white number stickers to add to my books in my first spread. Just for the heck of it, you guys. There was no reason for it. I just thought it would be fun. So I just add numbers to my little book covers. And then I go back to my playlist spread and add this adorable washi from Archer and Olive. I think it was one of their newest lines. It looks like black blood, honestly. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is gorgeous. And I decided to use that to add underneath my title, just to kind of anchor it and give it a little shelf there. And I love how it turned out. And now I can call my spreads done. Don't forget, I will be adding all the links for everything I use down in the description box for you. I hope you have been enjoying my October daily videos. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.